The Secure 2.0 Act made massive changes to retirement planning. Today, we're going to explore its impact on Roth conversions and tax planning in retirement.
Welcome to Label on Fire with Label Sternbach, the financial independence and retirement show dedicated to helping you build the life of your dreams as fast as possible with as little stress as possible. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Label on Fire.
Joining us now in this episode of Label on Fire is Label Sternbach. Hi, everybody. I'm Freddie Bell. He is Amazon's best-selling author of Living with Financial Anxiety and also the book Authenticity. Label, I'm so glad to be talking with you. You really set us up the last time we were together. And I'm wondering, speaking of that, if you can give a real quick recap about the changes made by the Secure 2.0 Act.
Yeah, so real brief, the Secure 2.0 Act does a few things. Number one is it increases the age at which we need to take those required minimum distributions. People who would have to take it in 2023, they get an extra year. So it's age 73 starting now, and then age 75 starting in 10 years from now. The penalty for not taking it has been halved. So that went from 50% of what you were supposed to take to 25%. Both of those things combined create a very interesting retirement planning, change to retirement planning, so that the calculus of when to retire, how much money to take, whether to delay Social Security, how long to delay Social Security, all of those things now change, including whether you should do Roth conversions or how much you should do Roth conversions. You have more time now to take advantage of those first years of retirement where you get to really control your income. So that is great. You also have contribution limits are being increased, and there's an additional catch-up contribution for retirement accounts for 401ks and whatnot. So that's great because now you can save more money for retirement, a tax-deferred way. Of course, you don't have as much time for it to grow, but it still is really great that's happening and that it's indexed for inflation. There's a whole bunch of other changes. There's 20 plus changes that came into the Secure 2.0 Act, so that all of them are really good stuff for retirement. But the key things is that change to the required minimum distributions and the decrease in penalties, because that is going to have the biggest impact on retirement planning and retirees. And I think it will help many retirees have more money in retirement and help them not run out of money in retirement.
Having more money in retirement, Label, I would think would be a good thing.
Yeah, absolutely. The thing that we want the most is to not run out of money in retirement. And the only way to really do that is to be good stewards of our money and make sure that we're doing everything possible to hold on to it for as long as possible. And that means not overpaying on taxes. That means making sure protecting it from market fluctuations and making sure that when we sell things to generate income, that we're selling it at the right time, or we're selling it the right way, and we're selling the right things so that it doesn't upset us long-term financially. And these are decisions that we don't really have to make in our working years. In our working years, the only thing we got to really decide is how much are we saving. We don't really have to decide what are we selling in order to fund our income, right? We need money. We get a second job. We put in a few extra hours at work. We don't have to think about, am I selling this stock or that stock? Am I taking my RMDs this month or next month? Those are important questions that can really have an impact on our long-term financial stability.
So let's do a little math problem right now. Tell me how the Secure 2.0 Act changes the math with those folks who have Roth conversions.
The math of doing a Roth conversion, right? The way that has changed. Typically, you would look at a Roth conversion, you'll say, okay, this is what my required minimum distributions are going to be. This is what my tax rate is going to pay on taxes. And you look and you do some math and you say, well, am I going to save money on taxes by paying my taxes up front versus doing it later? And when you had to take RMDs at age 70 and a half or age 72, you had a very short window from when you retired until you had to start taking those RMDs, where you could do this Roth conversion and you could control your income. And so people would get very aggressive. You had 3 or 4 years, 5 years maybe, being able to do these strategic Roth conversions. And so for many people, especially if you had more than a 500,000 or 1 million in your retirement accounts, you didn't have much choice in how much money you were taking out, right? It's a very simple math game. Now that we have until age 75, we have this entire period from age 60 until age 75. So it's a full 15 years where we can suddenly start doing these Roth conversions, and we have the potential to control our income. And when we look at Social Security, which most people can start taking as early as age 62, and you look at your retirement accounts, you may find that you can retire earlier, spend down your retirement accounts, and either take Social Security earlier or use it to defer Social Security so you have a bigger Social Security check. And that calculus all of a sudden changes. Whereas before you didn't have so many choices. So those extra few years of going from 70 and a half to 75 is huge. The changing of the tax penalty from 50 to 25, it opens up a world of possibility.
We're talking with Leibel Sternbach. So can you further outline, I'd like to keep this discussion going, can you further outline some of the tax planning implications of these changes you just talked about?
Yeah, so the tax planning implications, right, is what you have is first Social Security, right? So Social Security can be taxed, it can be taxed zero up to 85%. And it's based on how much you earn. And when you take money out of your retirement accounts, that gets taxed as taxable income, and that affects your Social Security. So we have this window of opportunity from when you quit your job until age 73 or 75, when you have to start taking required minimum distributions, where you get to control your income. And then the question is, okay, where are you getting your money from? What accounts are you pulling it out of? Is it one where you pay taxes on it now, or is it where you pay taxes on it later? Do you have tax losses that you can use to offset that tax income? And what can you do in terms of exclusions and deductions to maximize those so that you defer or eliminate some of your tax liability? And these are really questions that you got to answer. And the math really changes based on your age and based on your health and based on how much money you would get from Social Security, where you have your assets. So you want to start thinking about diversifying. So let's say you're not going to retire until age 67, when you can take your Social Security at your full retirement age for Social Security. Well, you may have from age 60 to age 67, right, where if your plan allows it, you can put money into your 401k and then roll it over into a Roth and pay taxes in those years, or manage the investments yourself and do things that can generate tax-free income in retirement. So there's lots of options, but you really got to look at it from the context of what is my tax income in my tax liability in retirement. Not all income is created equally, and you want to diversify your income sources. From a tax standpoint, you can minimize and you can play the tax game. And taxes really is a game in terms of trying to get the most value for the least cost.
Do your reports outline these options, Leibel?
100%. On my website, we've got reports, we've got guides, we've got classes, we've got articles, we've got all the resources that you need in order to really build for yourself a tax-free retirement, so that you can make the most of your Social Security, so you can make the most of your investments, so that you can just go about living your life without worrying about all of these million moving pieces that is retirement.
Are there other areas of retirement planning that this act has impacted either negatively or positively?
So there are some other places where it has impacted. Things like the catch-up contributions, so how much you can contribute to your retirement savings, which we talked about taxes in your working years. And let's face it, most people towards the end of their career before they retire are going to be earning the most. those catch-up contributions, right, allow you to take that money off of the top so that your taxable income, it decreases your taxable income in those years. Which, if you're able to contribute more of it and decrease your taxable income, you may be able to save even more. So that can accelerate it. There are some other changes that will make retirement easier, such as like the fact that you don't need to take RMDs from Roth accounts, 401k Roth accounts, things like adding an emergency savings account in your Roth account for defined contribution plans. So there's all kinds of like little things that are built into it. But the biggest ones are what we talked about, the RMDs and the change in terms of penalty. One other thing that is really cool is the 529 plan. So the 529 plan is for saving for college, right? So it can be used for actually large number of education purposes. But it used to be that if you didn't use those funds for education, that you then had to take them out. And you would get hit with a penalty or whatever, or you could roll it over to another beneficiary. The Secure 2.0 Act, one of the things that it does is it allows you to roll it over into a Roth IRA, which is really cool. There are limits to how you can do it, how much you can do it, but that allows you it gives you more peace of mind if you're thinking long-term, right? And you're like, okay, I want to save for my kids' rate to college, but they may not go to a private school that needs money, or they may not need this money for college. Hopefully they'll get a scholarship or something. Well, it allows them, if they want, to roll that over into a Roth IRA, which then gives them a leg up in terms of retirement savings or just the ability to weather life's uncertainties.
That's exciting news. And our last question for today, can you explain what retirees can do to make sure that their retirement plan is up to date in light of the new law?
So what you want to do, you want to go over your plan, and if you were using an online tool or your advisor was spinning out a plan from an online tool, you probably don't want to use those tools because it's going to be a while before those tools are updated. We're in the process of rolling out a new tool that is specifically designed for this. But in the meantime, what you want to do is look at your plan and ask yourself the question, okay, when is it saying that I need to take RMDs? When is it saying that I should be doing these Roth conversions? Is the assumptions about the amounts I'm contributing or that I'm converting, do they still make sense based on this context? Does when I'm taking Social Security, does it still make sense based on the context of that I have this more time where I have control over my income in retirement? Those are all really important questions you got to ask yourself, and they really change the calculus of when you can retire and when you should take your Social Security.
He's Leibel Sternbach. If you'd like more information, you can go to yields4u.com. That's yields, the number 4, the letter U.com. And also we invite you to tune in next week as we talk about not 1, not 2, but 5 ways that you can save money on your taxes in retirement. This is Leibel on Fire.
If you would like to see how the Yields for You team can help you get off the Wall Street roller coaster and save you money on taxes so you can live the life of your dreams, book an appointment online at yieldsforyou.com. That's yieldsforyou.com. Or call 410-914-4894. That's 410-914-4894.
Yields for You is a registered investment advisor in the state of New York and only transacts business in states where the firm is properly registered or is excluded or exempted from registration requirements. Registration as an investment advisor is not an endorsement. Information presented on this program is believed to be factual and up to date, but we do not guarantee its accuracy, and it should not be regarded as a complete analysis of the subjects discussed. Discussion should not be construed as an offer to buy or sell or solicitation of any offer to buy or sell the investments mentioned. Annuity guarantees are subject to the claims paying ability of the issuing insurance company. Content should not be viewed as legal or tax advice. Always consult an attorney or tax professional regarding your specific legal or tax situation.